All right, welcome back, everybody. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some equations that have some special solutions. So we're going to try to take a look at three different examples to give you guys an idea of what this might look like. Okay, so in this first example, we have the equation 15 minus 2x equals negative 7x. So of course, the first thing to notice is that we do have variables on both sides, which isn't a major issue, but we do need to remember that in solving equations, we do need to make sure that all of the variable terms end up on one side of the equation. Left or right doesn't necessarily matter, and then we'll have to isolate the variable after that. Okay, so in this equation, I would start by deciding which side I want the variable on. I see here on the right-hand side of the equation that a variable term is already by itself, so it might be better for us to go ahead and leave that one alone, and then we will in essence move the other variable term, this minus 2x, to the other side to combine our like terms together. So go ahead and start with that. So I see that the term 2x is being subtracted. I can choose to do the inverse operation, which is to add 2x, but again, the properties of equality always say we have to do things to both sides, and then simplify our expressions. On the left, we did have a minus 2x, and then we're adding 2x. Those effectively cancel each other out to 0, and we are just left with a positive 15. And on the left, we had a negative 7x. We're going to add a positive 2x to that, and we are left with a negative 5x. Now, for some of us, it can feel a little bit odd to have the variable term on the right, although that doesn't really affect how we solve the equation at all, so don't let that throw you off. Our last operation then is the multiplication that is invisible, or at least it's not explicitly stated right there, and we'll do the inverse of that multiplication, which is division. So I'll divide both sides by the coefficient, which is negative 5, and again, simplify my expressions. On the right, negative 5 divided by negative 5 is positive 1. That leaves us with a positive 1x, or just x. And on the left-hand side, we do have 15 divided by negative 5, which is negative 3. Now, if we substitute this back in, I am going to save us a little bit of time, even though you do need to be making sure you check your own solutions diligently. This one does work out cleanly. Now, I said I'd be reviewing some equations that could have special solutions, and this doesn't seem to really have a special solution. X is simply equal to negative 3, but I wanted to start off with an equation that had variables on both sides to prepare us for the next two examples that we will see. Here's our next example. 3 minus 4x equals negative 7 minus 4x. So we obviously see some similarities, but notice that we do have constants on both sides, 3 and negative 7, and we have the variable terms 4x on both sides as well. So which side, again, that we decide to move variable terms versus constants isn't overly important. You simply need to make a choice. I like to start by combining my variable terms, so I will go ahead and do that first. On the left, at least, I see that we are subtracting 4x. I'll go ahead and do the inverse by adding 4x and use the properties of equality to do that to both sides to keep my equation balanced. And then we just simplify. On the left, we have minus 4x and plus 4x. Again, those cancel each other out, becoming 0. That does leave us with just that positive 3. And on the left, we have a similar thing. The minus 4x and plus 4x cancel each other out, and we are left with negative 7. Well, this is intriguing. This final statement says that 3 equals negative 7. Well, in fact, 3 does not equal negative 7. So did we do something wrong? And actually, no, we did a great job of solving this equation. However, we ended up with a statement that is never true. If you end up with a statement in any way, shape, or form that can never, ever be true, this is a situation where we have a special solution, and in fact, that solution is no solution. So when this happens to you guys, when you're solving an equation, as long as you have followed your steps carefully, when you end up with a situation that is never true, you need to just simply say there is no solution to this equation. So for our final example here, we kind of up the ante a little bit, if you will, with this equation. We have 6x plus 4 is equal to 4 times the quantity 3 halves x plus 1. Okay, so of course we have variables and constants on both sides, but you'll also notice here on the right, we have one of those situations where we have a coefficient out in front of the parentheses, meaning it's probably a good time for us to do some distribution. So we'll go ahead and take care of that first. So we'll do 4 times 3 halves x and 4 times 1. When we go to simplify that, again, feel free to use a calculator if you need a little bit of assistance with your fractions, or go ahead and write it out by hand. But 4 times 3 halves, believe it or not, is actually 6. So 4 times 3 halves x is just 6x. Plus, well, 4 times 1 is 4. So now we have that simplified. We'll rewrite the rest of our equation. And you'll probably notice relatively quickly that both sides of the equation look similar. We're going to go ahead and finish combining all of our like terms. So far, I think I've moved the variable terms mostly to the left or right. I'm sorry, mostly to the right. I'm going to think about moving them to the left. But I also see that I have two constants that are identical. I'm going to switch things up, and instead of actually dealing with the variables first, I'm going to go ahead and move the constants just so you see that that is an option as well. So I do see I'm adding 4 on the left. I'll go ahead and do the inverse, which is to subtract 4 from both sides and simplify. 4 minus 4 is 0, leaving me with 6x. And 4 minus 4 is still 0, so we're left with 6x. So this is one version of how this could turn out. Now you notice that 6x equals x. But please remember we're typically trying to isolate the variable and we still have a coefficient. I could choose to go ahead and divide by that coefficient on both sides. And of course, 6 divided by 6 is just x. So we end up with x equals x. Now we could have actually started with the variable terms and without going through that whole process, instead of the final step being x equals x, you would have ended up with the statement 4 equals 4. And both are valid ways to end this. But what you'll notice is that in each situation, you end up with an answer. Oh my, that zoomed in rather quickly. I apologize. There we go. You ended up with these statements x equals x, 4 equals 4. And in this situation, you have a statement that is always true. Let's think about what I mean when I say always true. For the version on the right, 4 will always equal 4. That's an obvious statement. And the original way I solved it, I have x equals, well, x, meaning x could be any value. And it's important that I mention it in that way because these statements, again, are always true, which means that for this special solution, if you get a statement that is always true, then your solution is what we call infinitely many solutions. And no, you don't need to write it in all caps. I'm just making sure it stands out here. If your statement is always true, then your solution is what we call infinitely many solutions. So this is a special case that basically means we can put absolutely any number we want in for x. If we go back up to our original equation, we can put any number we want right here because it'll be the same number that goes right here, and you will always be able to make that equation true. So in review here, we saw a couple things. One, you will notice that you're going to see variables on both sides of the equations frequently with this scenario. It is possible that when you finish, you might get a statement that is never true. For example, 3 will never equal -7. If you get a statement that is never true, then you have no solution. And lastly, again, if you end up with a statement that is always true, then you will have infinitely many solutions. Hopefully this gives you guys a few extra tips and examples to get you going. Good luck with your work, and let me know if you need any help.